So with the new changes in OB54, I wanted to just kind of go through everything and just kind of talk about my thoughts on everything, whether I think the changes are good, and I want to change some things. Well, I want to say what I would change about this latest update just to kind of make it a little bit better. So overall, I think the most part, it was good. The Some general bug fixes were made. The new champion Leon is pretty cool. I'm not going to go into detail about her right now, just because um, I don't want to be impulsive in what I say about her. But the new skin's really good. The changes to the economy, I think, are great. It will reduce the grind for some things. Some people have complained that it'll be too hard to get champions right now, but I think that that's actually a good thing because getting a new champion is much more impactful than getting a new skin or something. So it should be harder to get a new champion than it should be to get a new uh, card or anything. Going along with that, though, I think they need to reevaluate how they are going to do the default champions, because currently we're at one front line, one flank, and one support, and 5 damage for the default. I just don't like that. It doesn't teach you roles very well. I actually spammed this question during the developer insight, and they answered it saying they're looking at doing some kind of champion rotation. I would like it to be 2 from each, just so that it helps people have some kind of diversity. But all that is not what I'm talking about right now. What I want to focus on are the many different legendary changes, starting with Androxus and his Darkstalker. I don't play Androxus. I'm going to be honest, I've never played Androxus for some reason. I just don't like the champion. Call me a scrub if you want, but I just do not like Androxus. So I really don't want to give my opinion on Darkstalker because I am unexperienced in how Androxus works. But let me just say, I don't think that Darkstalker works. The change where it deals 30% more damage to enemies below 40 health. Now, what I do know about is Ashe. Ashe is one of my favorite champions. So, having the burst cannon, it detonates closer to enemies. So my guess is as soon as it would reach maximum damage, it blows up then, or somewhere like that, where if it passes by someone and as it's leaving their hitbox, it does something. But in any case, it just gets closer to, it detonates early if it's close to an enemy, which is nice. It feels a bit better to actually hit the enemies, and it makes it a bit easier to shoot over enemy shields. Having Fortress Breaker increase the size of the siege shield by 50% is insane. That is such a big change that I like it. I like that. I just don't think that it makes Fortress Breaker good. In casuals, it will be better because you can play as a solo tank Ashe, but in the high levels of competitive, which I watch a lot of pro play, I really enjoy doing that, so I don't think we'll see Ashe deviate from her set role. Barrick's Tinkerin, I mean, it makes Barrick a bit stronger, and I always thought that they would eventually go to just a single slug. Overall, it's a pretty good change. It makes Barrick stronger on his own, so if you expect your enemies are going to be taking out your turrets a lot, it may be a better idea to take Tinkerin and go at it at Barrick. Buck is another champion that I really like to play. Bounce House, I mean, it's interesting, but it's just pales in comparison now to Ensnare, which has huge bonus damage. So that's a thing. But Bounce House right now, it doesn't have 2 charges anymore, so it greatly reduces those mobility as kind of just this mild disturbance. I don't think Bounce House is... I think they'll change Bounce House a bit more. Bomb King is one that I played a lot before, but I haven't played him recently. The Accelerant change I do not like, just because it takes away any kind of mobility Bomb King has. Bomb King has no way to go farther with his Poppy Bomb. One thing I think could be changed, even if Accelerant were not changed back to how it was, I think it should be changed somehow, because Grumpy Bomb exploding faster is just not something it needs. So what I would say is the card Jolt, The Poppy Bomb explodes as soon as it reaches the surface, but it deals up to 40% more knockback to enemies. I think that they should remove the enemies and just have it be an increase to the power of the knockback of Poppy Bomb, but it explodes on contact. The changes to Demolition, that's pretty cool. I like that it forces people out instead of... A lot of the time I'm playing Ash, a Bomb King puts down a Grumpy Bomb. I just toss my Siege Shield down easily, and it blocks it. It's easy. So I think changing Demolition, forcing enemies away, or forcing them to do something is nice. Like Androxus, I've never played Cassie, so I can't really weigh in on how it works, but as it seems... Exaction just still seems like the best thing. Drogo's is one I play a lot as well, and I think reducing the flight speed of Wormjets, it's 25%. It's pretty hefty, but I still think that Wormjets is good. I honestly don't know if we'll go back to Fusillade and Combustible being the right options, or if we'll stay with Combustible and Wormjets being the best options. Maybe Combustible will be the best option, and Wormjets will be the better option in some situations. Eevee is one I've been getting into a lot. I think Over the Moon reworking, it'll be interesting to see if that works. Especially in casuals, it's going to make Eevee much stronger. Decreasing Reprieve, though, I think Reprieve should have been decreased, yes. But I don't think it should have been to this extent, where it halved. So now she can only get up to 900 health for it. I think that at least they should have gone to 400 health per second instead, so then she recovers 66% of it, because right now, this is weaker than Xin. Like, you would want Zin's Smolder before you want this, because Xin has more health, he can move during it, and it recovers 60% of his health, so it's much better. I think Reprieve is in a bad situation right now. And then one of Eevee's cards was changed. A whole lot, in fact. I don't like how that worked. It basically just, she can't blink as far anymore. The changes to Fernando are beautiful. They're almost as beautiful as Fernando is. The increased projectile speed of Fireball and reduced cooldown, especially with cards that can further reduce that cooldown. I am expecting the return of Flank Nando very soon, equipped with his Fireball and Scorch. I am so ready to play this new Fernando. The Grover changes, I think Ferocity, that's alright. Blossom, it's alright. I think even with Ferocity becoming stronger, it's still going to be all about that Deep Roots, just because of how strong being immobile is. Next up, there's Inara changes. Treacherous Ground is one that I've wanted to see changed for a while, but not just increasing the radius of Warder's Field. What I would want for Treacherous Ground is to give... I can't even talk. I'm trying to make a YouTube video and I can't even talk. But I want Treacherous Ground to give Warder's Field an infinite duration. So then it forces the enemy to deal with the Warder's Field instead of just ignoring it. Plus, Warder's Field can grant some cool stuff, so it helps Inara out there as well. With some damage reduction that will be constant, and some health gain that would be constant again. Treacherous Ground has the ability to be good. I just think they need to not have it be as it is right now. But Tremors is freaking amazing. I've tried Tremors out in a few games, and I love it. The best part of it is even if you get down to 1 HP, it still reduces the cooldown to 3. But even better is that you can manually cancel Impasse, and it will still apply the cooldown reduction of 80%. If you destroy your Impasse, it still is reduced. That is amazing. Just basically, as soon as it's about to take the last point of damage, you cancel it out manually, and you're fine. You can cancel it out and put it up 3 seconds later. It's easy. Lex. I don't like the Discovery. It's just another damage gimmick. And I think I don't like when legendary cards are just damage gimmicks. See, there's a difference between a damage gimmick like Combustible, where it deals more damage, but it also has the knockback that it used to have, which is, a thing. So just giving Discovery more damage against Retribution, I think that high-res need to look at how Retribution works. Especially, I know Feral Knights, if you know Feral Knights, they're like the face of the Sky community in Paladins. So look at what they have to say about the interaction between Lex and Sky, and you'll understand what I have to say. Um, right now I don't have anything to say about this. Maybe one day I'll have this epiphany and know exactly what should happen to Lex. But right now we're just gonna move past him. The changes to Maeve, she deals more damage after Prowl. Nothing. It's nothing. Maeve is still gonna be crap. Makoa's Leviathan, though. This is something I've been wanting for a while, where the Leviathan Guard gets the CC immunity during Ancient Rage on top of the health. So then Makoa, you know, the CC immunity during Ancient Rage is amazing. You're completely unstoppable. And I just love that. I was sad when they took that away. So, putting it on Leviathan, I think I might try to pick up Leviathan in more situations, especially if I'm confident that my team can kill my hook target without me having to have pluck. Now, Maldamba's changes are really cool. The Spirit's Chosen now just massive health bonuses. I think Maldamba will become an S tier support as it stands. Bypass Saris just because of how much healing he can get, especially with that 300 burst is going to be a lot. The changes to Snake Toss are also pretty cool. It always deals 200 damage, and with Kono's Wrath, still useless. They completely changed how it works. It's still basically useless. Maldamba doesn't need damage when he can have a ton of more healing instead. Pip's acrobatics being reworked. I'm afraid that this will encourage a bit too much of flanking Pip, and then if he gets into a poor situation, if he gets rooted, if he gets stunned, if he's slowed, he just acrobatics out of the way. But, I mean, it'll also help with healer Pip being able to stay by his front line and keep them alive without having to sacrifice without risking getting hit by some kind of CC. The other issue is that Catalyst may still be the best option because you pick Pip up for having better damage than most of the supports, so having the Catalyst will probably still be better. Ruckus's Overdrive new thing, where he deals 30% more damage based on your missing health. I think that's a much more interesting concept than Recycler. Recycler was dumb. It sucked. Overdrive is more interesting, but it's still not as good as Aerial Assault. Aerial Assault is just good. Sarah's had her proximity distance increased on her basic attack. That's a thing, you know, let's just make it even easier to hit. With no clear reason why. Whatever. Shaolin up next. I'm planning to talk more about his reworked Shifting Sand legendaries later, so wait for that. But Desert Shadow, 30% more damage on the shots out of stealth is awesome. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's so cool that he basically just sort of becomes just a better version of Sky. He has huge bursts of damage. He can impale an enemy into the wall. He can stealth over, impale an enemy into the wall with 1,300 damage, and then finish them with an easy other hit. It's awesome. Torvald, still useless. Even Direct Current. Runic Blast deals damage. That's great. Personally, I would want to see Direct Current double the size of the explosion of Runic Blast. That would be insane, being able to properly take away an entire team's stuff. But I also want to see Runic Blast changed a little bit. I would personally prefer it to just be a silence for 2 seconds instead of a silence and disarm for 1.5. Just a bit more interesting. Tyra, I'm loving the changes to everything. Currently, Firebomb dealing damage to deployables. Yeah, that's all cool. I really don't care about that. But Hunting Party giving increased bonus damage is just amazing. I've been playing Tyra a couple of times, and I love just dealing so much damage. I could see Tyra moving up a few tiers if people start, especially in professional play. Maybe not in casuals, just because people won't focus down your target. But in professional play, when someone can call out, I'm marking blank, especially if that blank is a healer, That is just amazing. Zing got a bug fix, but and that's it. A few things missing. For one, any kind of Sky changed. I think we all can agree that Sky is crap and that something needs to be changed about her. I don't want them to keep it internal. I would have liked to have seen Sky get a couple of different changes over the past few patches, just trying out different things to see what works and what doesn't, but as it stands, I still think that this patch is good. It made a lot of new legendaries a bit more useful. It took away from some, in some cases a bit too much, like Androx's Darkstalker and I can't even think now. Bomb King's Accelerant. But yeah, I think it might shake up the meta a little bit. So thank you all so very much for joining me here and listening to me ramble about my opinions on things. I'll see you all next time. Until then.